Coming up on Wake Up NonStop Local, a U.S. airman shot down and rescued where he was found in the mountains of Iran and how the CIA helped find the missing service member.
We've got a lot of sunshine on the way, not just today, but throughout much of the week. That being said, today is going to be our warmest day of the week. We'll talk more about why coming up.
And the mission around the moon, the crew of Artemis 2 set to fly further into space than any other human in history. What's ahead in their historic lunar flyby coming up.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Thanks for being right here. Here's a live look at the Spokane River, looking to the west, the peaceful valley. Water's still cold. Let that be a reminder as things heat up and you think that it's time for all the summer activities. No. Still spring. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
I'm Sam Adams. Yeah, cool your jet, so to speak. We're in the Weather Center right now with meteorologist Justin Spinney with a stellar forecast.
Yeah, good point there by Kalai. I was thinking today, like, oh, it feels like a good day to get in the water. You look at the blue water, it looks nice. It's still going to be a polar plunge if you're getting into that water. So, yeah, put that off a little bit unless you're, in a nice indoor pool or something like that. But take a look at the next 12 hours in Spokane. It really is going to be a beautiful day ahead of us. Partly cloudy skies sticking around today, hitting that high temperature right around 4 o'clock, 71 degrees. First time we are hitting the 70s this year. Quick cool down tonight, though, with those clear skies. And tomorrow we are not going to warm up much as a cold front's going to be moving through. Popping over now into the Tri-Cities, even more sunshine today and even warmer temperatures. That high is going to come right between 4 and 5, it's looking like, and we have a shot to get to 80 degrees in the Tri-Cities. Similarly, though, it is going to be a quick cool down once we see the sun go down tonight. Across the rest of the region, only hitting the upper 60s for areas like Sandpoint in the North Idaho Panhandle, the Palouse and Pullman and Moscow hitting the upper 60s today. Those warmest temperatures definitely out farther west, but it's certainly a warm one. Tomorrow we really shake things up a bit, though. We'll talk more about the cold front coming through in a couple more minutes, Kalai and Sam.
Okay, see you in a few, Justin. Now to a traffic alert. Starting today, there's a new street closure in place for construction of the North Spokane corridor.
And it's happening right in front of Spokane Community College on the first day of the new quarter. Starting today, WashDOT will be closing the inside lanes of Green Street between Mission and Ermina. They'll be installing traffic islands in the area. Now, the right lanes in both directions will stay open, but drivers should prepare for delays. Meantime, the Sullivan Road project starts today in Spokane Valley. Drivers are bracing for detours.
The project is expected to last 5 months. With that, let's get to NonStop Local's J.R. Cottingham, who's live now from the project work zone.
Good morning. Primarily funded with National Highway System funds and some local dollars, the Sullivan Road Preservation Project will include a few replacements and replenishments. All asphalt between 8th and 24th Avenue will be brand new. There will also be some new traffic signals replaced with an added turning lane to Central Valley High School. Pedestrian safety is the main driver for the city. On the west side of Sullivan between 8th and 16th Avenue, crews will add a sidewalk and a flashing pedestrian crosswalk between 9th and 11th Avenue. The city plans to also replace stormwater structures, and swells will be replenished to fix irrigation systems and monitor landscaping. This project is set to wrap up by September. Reporting live in Spokane Valley, I'm Giara Cottingham, NonStop Local.
Giara, thank you. Let's get to your top local news headlines now out of Tri-Cities and Yakima.
Here's Colby and Brad.
A tragedy in Walla Walla County. A child, a 3-year-old boy, dead after an injury at Rooks Park. The Walla Walla County Sheriff says on Wednesday, deputies and fire crews went to the park for reports of the injured child, and the boy later died. Investigators do not believe any crime was committed. The sheriff would not share any more details or how the boy was hurt, asking the community to give the family privacy as they grieve their loss. Rooks Park will stay closed until at least April 15th. A man was killed while crossing eastbound Interstate 82 in Yakima, according to Washington State Patrol. WSP says the man was in the eastbound lanes when a semi-truck heading east hit him at exit 33B. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. However, there are no charges against the driver at this time. The first case of measles this year has been found in Walla Walla County, according to the county's Department of Community Health. The confirmed case found in an unvaccinated Walla Walla County resident exposed to the virus during international travel. The person spent time in Walla Walla County during their contagious period, but there is no known public exposure at this time. With an incubation period of 7 to 21 days, the department says if contracted from this case, symptoms of measles could be experienced from tomorrow until Monday, April 27th. This is the 32nd case of measles recorded in Washington this year. For NonStop Local, I'm Colby Brad.
Colby, thank you. Taking a live look from the White House this morning, where President Trump is expected to hold a news conference in the Oval Office this morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time. This comes after U.S. forces safely rescued the second F-15E crew member of a two-seat fighter jet. It went down over Iran Friday.
The president used expletives on Truth Social to refer to Iran's leadership, threatening more strikes if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz. NBC's Chris Pallone has it all.
The Pentagon says the second crew member of an American F-15 shot down in Iran Friday is now safe after a daring rescue deep in Iranian territory over the weekend. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle praising the dangerous but successful mission.
Well, I'm thankful that a second U.S. airman has been rescued heroically by our special forces.
It speaks to the courage, the bravery, and the commitment to service of our armed forces.
But that's where the agreement ends, as the U.S. and Israel continue to bombard Iranian targets, and Iran fires back at Israel and other U.S. allies in the region. President Trump ramping up pressure on the Iranian regime in an expletive-laden Easter Sunday social media post, threatening to target the country's power plants and bridges if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which 20% of the world's oil passes each year. Iran saying the strait will never return to its former state and promising to respond in kind.
Our armed forces would target any similar infrastructure that is owned or in any way or manner related to the United States.
President Trump has given mixed messages on when the war will end and whether he plans to send American troops into Iran.
It's in their interest to try to make a deal before the consequences rain down on them.
Democrats accuse the president of not knowing what he was getting into.
Now, Iran recognizes that, in fact, their control over the strait is even more strategically vital to them than the development of a nuclear weapon. And that is why strategically this war has been a failure.
So far, U.S. allies have resisted President Trump's calls to help secure the Strait of Hormuz so normal shipping can resume. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
The Iran war is impacting gas prices in the U.S., and AAA says that the price per gallon of gas is still going up.
Now, the national average now sitting at $4.12 a gallon. That's up by another cent from just yesterday. Statewide average in the state of Washington up to $5.39 a gallon.
And meanwhile, in Idaho, gas is down 1 cent from yesterday at $4.25. And the rise in gas prices is hurting the bottom line for Washington farmers. That means that the cost of produce could be passed on to you.
According to the National Tree Fruit Association, higher fuel costs are now making it more expensive to access remote orchards. And the president of the association says the impact goes beyond transportation.
A big increase in the cost of getting out to an orchard where you're working can determine, do you have workers willing to come to an orchard in a remote area? If they see a fuel price spike that says, well, maybe I will lose a lot of my wages just in getting to that farm.
The group also says if workers can't afford to travel, growers may struggle to find labor or be forced to raise wages, putting more pressure on farm operations.
A tanker truck hauling gasoline in Fort Worth, Texas, caught fire after it crashed into another vehicle and knocked down several power lines.
Firefighters say the 18-wheeler was carrying 9,000 gallons of gas that started leaking after the crash. The gas then hit the downed lines, which caused the fire that ignited around the driver.
Fire crews had to spray the tanker with water. They used sand to contain the gasoline itself. The driver was taken to the hospital with burn injuries. No one else was injured.
Well, it's a big day for space. It's just a few hours from now. The crew of the Artemis 2 will begin orbiting the moon.
All right, with that, let's go to Justin Spinney. Justin, you've been tracking this since the launch. Today's the big day.
Big day indeed. The crew will arrive in around 2 hours this morning and will begin the orbit around the moon. You're looking at a live feed right now from the capsule. Overnight, the crew's Orion capsule entered what's known as the lunar sphere of influence. That's where the moon's gravitational pull is stronger than the pull of Earth's. Over the weekend, the crew did get an up-close view of the moon, and it wasn't quite what they were expecting.
Last night, we did have our first view of the moon far side, and It was just absolutely spectacular. And something about you senses that is not the moon that I'm used to seeing. And sure enough, we got out our lunar targeting information and we matched up and we're like, yeah, that is the dark side.
That flyby of the moon will happen start just before 10 this morning. They will be doing observations of the moon's surface and taking photos for about 7 hours. From there, they start their journey back home. Hope they're safe travels, Sam and Clyde.
All right, thank you very much. I love that term, the lunar sphere of influence. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this project influences the rest of the world and what's next.
All right, almost halfway there. All right, more to come here on the Wake Up Show when we come back.
And we've got some nice sunshine today. Really warm temperatures by this afternoon. The warmest of the year for most of us. And then we start to cool down tomorrow. We'll talk about why our temperatures are fluctuating so much this week coming up.
Gonzaga Bulldogs lose a starter to the transfer portal before the portal even opens. I'm Grady Glover with the Sports Minute. Emmanuel Innocenti plans to enter the transfer portal. Innocenti played 2 years for the Bulldogs after transferring from Tarleton State, starting in 29 of the Zags' 35 games this season. He was one of the Bulldogs' best defensive players, averaged 6 points and 4 rebounds per game, but scored also in double figures 6 times this season. Spokane Chiefs, they fell to Prince George Cougars 5-3 in Game 6 of the WHL playoffs. The Chiefs' season comes to a close, and for Sam Aremba, Logan Wormold, and Dominic Peter, they finish their final game in a Chiefs uniform. The Seattle Mariners, they go to extra innings against the Angels, but they fall to the Angels on a sacrifice fly. Randy Arozarena can't throw out the runner at the plate. The Mariners now 4-6 to start the season. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, and Josh Naylor all in hitting slumps, but it's still very early on. The Spokane Indians, they win their 3-game series against the Aqua Sox. They win on a walk-off sacrifice bunt, 9-8 over Everett. I'm Grady Glover, and that's the Sports Minute.
And there was an Angel in the outfield this weekend, and he was giving the Seattle Mariners fits.
Yeah, we're talking about Angels right fielder Joe Adell robbing the Mariners of not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs all in the same game.
Like, that would have been an amazing experience. Meantime, all the Mariners fans are like, stop it! Stop!
Just let us have one.
Yeah, those 3 batters, too, for the Mariners, all with kind of tough starts to the season. It really would have been nice to see those balls go over the fence for them. Not to be.
And they did, but someone caught them.
Just keep on doing it. I think we got a Gold Glove winner right now for outfield for the Angels. Meantime, we got a golden forecast right now, Justin.
Yeah. That's a professional transition right there from Sam Adams. Let's swing it over to the weather wall. We're talking about a nice warm day today, and hey, to go with that, the days are getting longer. Let's talk about the sunrise and sunset time. What's notable about the sunrise today at 6:18, that's the same sunrise time we had the day before we hit daylight saving time. So we have now caught back up, adding a lot of daylight here. Sunset not until 7:27 tonight in Spokane. As we get into those weather headlines, it is going to be unseasonably warm across the region today. Many of us in the 70s, slightly cooler areas hitting the upper 60s. In the Tri-Cities specifically, we've got a shot at 80 degrees today. As we head into tomorrow, though, we do cool down pretty quickly, and it's going to be a bit of a windy day out there. In fact, we can't rule out some fire danger tomorrow. The good news is our fire fields have a lot of moisture, but definitely a day you don't want to burn out there. Don't want anything to go wrong. Don't want to put that risk out there. As we start to look ahead, we say mostly dry until we hit this next weekend. We're going to have a bit of a warming trend Wednesday through Friday, and even the showers this weekend don't look like they're going to be too strong, at least at this point. Let's talk about the high temperatures for today and where we could break records. Moses Lake could break a record today at 78 degrees, the previous record 74. So expecting that record to be broken. That's about the only one, though, in case you were wondering. The Tri-Cities shot at 80 degrees today. The record is 82, so we're not going to be far off in the Tri-Cities there. Also watching the Palouse, just in case we do get that little boost in temperature. If we get into the low 70s, we could threaten that record of 72. Taking a look at the upper level pattern here, low pressure systems moving just to the north of us tomorrow. It's tightening our pressure gradient up, and it's going to drop a cold front down. That's why our winds are going to increase tomorrow, but that cold front also leaving colder and drier air behind it. And that's why we're going to see that big temperature drop, but we will have more sunshine as we head throughout the week. What's going to eventually break down that sunshine is the slower moving low pressure system in the Pacific. Not incredibly strong, not a lot of bite to it, but that is going to bring us at least chances of active weather by the weekend. Taking a look at the winds, though, as we head through the day today, very light, but by tomorrow things really start to change. We're going to have that cold front come through, and by the late morning, early early afternoon hours. We're getting some wind gusts up over 30 miles per hour, including for Pullman and Moscow, over toward areas around the Columbia Basin, the West Plains of Spokane. We'll get some pretty gusty winds. Not going to last too long, though. By tomorrow evening, those wind gusts die back down and stay pretty calm as we head through the middle and end of the week. As far as any shower chances, maybe a few weak chances into northeast Washington, the North Idaho Panhandle as we head later into this evening. If we do see showers, though, they're going to be brief and they're not going to be very heavy. And then from there, we're talking more sunshine as we head through the rest of this week. So something to look forward to. Let's get into the 7-day forecast. 71 the high for today. Big drop in temperature tomorrow, down to 55 for our high in Spokane. And look at all that sun Wednesday through Friday, getting our high temperature back to the mid-60s by Friday. Pretty big temperature swings, though, through the middle and end of the week, and that is due to clear skies. We're getting strong cool-offs at night, bringing our lows back down into the 30s, and we do have that weak shower chance Saturday and Sunday. For the Tri-Cities and Yakima, upper 70s, low 80s possible today, bringing our highs back down into the 60s, though, by tomorrow. Clyde and Sam.
All right. Thank you, Justin. President Trump and military leaders will be holding a news conference from the Oval Office 10 o'clock this morning about the war in Iraq.
And that's our top story in Morning Rush. The president posted this message on Truth Social Sunday, using profanity, threatening the regime, saying Iran will face strikes on power plants and bridges if it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz by Tuesday.
Washington State Patrol is investigating after a domestic violence incident ended with a deadly crash in Spokane County. Deputies say a woman escaped from a car near Boulder Beach before the driver sped off, lost control, and crashed into a tree. The driver died at the scene.
Washington State Patrol says a man died crossing Interstate 82 in Yakima. WSP says the semi-truck hit him while he was in the road near exit 33B. Right now, there are no charges against the driver.
Richland City Council is inviting the public to comment on a 6-month moratorium blocking new, less restrictive alternative facilities for sexually violent predators tomorrow. The moratorium took effect March 3rd. It stops new LRA facilities and related applications in all Richland zoning districts.
Artemis 2 crew is about to start its 7-hour journey around the moon. NASA says the crew will cross into the moon's gravity at 9:41 this morning, making the moon the main force guiding Orion's path.
And UCLA is celebrating its first ever national championship in women's basketball. The Bruins beating South Carolina 78-51 Sunday to win the NCAA title. The men's championship is tonight between UConn and Michigan. Tip-off for that one is at 5:50 this evening. So March Madness is almost in the rear view. What a run. Yeah.
April Madness is here, especially in the weather forecast. My goodness.
Yeah, sunshine and 70s. It's gorgeous. A great way to start the week.
Look at this beautiful look over Spokane right now, where we're going to get sunshine and 70s. Enjoy it while you can.